everybody, and welcome to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. I'm Shelley Pruitt, and my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts. How are you tonight? Obviously, I just had a stroke.
See, and
Sorry, I was
7
laughing.
seconds. It's already going off the rails.
I know. I was laughing so hard before we got this started. Before I get started, I wanted to say to you guys, welcome to the season finale of season 2 of Everything Vaguely Paranormal, and we had a great guest for the end of season 1. Well, we doubled it. 2 guests for the end of season 2, and I think you are going to have a blast with them.
God. Yes.
They are very, very fantastic investigators, and they are a trip. So you guys are in for it this evening.
If you have tender feelings or are easily offended, turn it off now.
Don't even watch any further if you have.
Go ahead and turn it off.
Just go ahead and just look away.
If you're ready to strap in and have some fun, and one of them was eating a banana for me before we got started, so I'm already excited, a little worked up.
This is the parental warning right now.
Yes, there it is. There's your warning. That's all you get. So our guests tonight are the creators of Expedition Entity on Paraflex, and we are so excited to have them. They are Dan Norvell and Larry Eissler III, and I'm going to tell you, they are authors of the books Ghost of Black Hawk War and the Afterlife Anthology, which you can find on Amazon.com. They do a lot of things in the paranormal. Their show on Paraflex is fantastic. They are very investigation focused, and so if you want to watch them do their investigations, watch real investigators doing real investigations, you've got to go check out Expedition Entity on Paraflex. But y'all, I can't wait. Again,
bring them on.
We have Bilbo Throbbins, and of course we have Larry, who wouldn't let me really give him a nasty nickname. So
you could call me Pittsburgh Feelers. It's okay.
Oh yeah, you're the Pittsburgh
Feelers.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Pittsburgh Feelers.
Now I will tell you that Dan called himself Bilbo Throbbins before we got started, as he was eating banana. How are you, gentlemen? Welcome.
We're good.
Let me just say, if I had banged any harder to your intro, I would have broke my neck.
I love that. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. I'm going to take all the credit for that right now, too.
Oh, Ryan said
awesome.
Headbanger. I thought you were talking. Never mind. We'll continue on with your
That kind of
story.
headbanger.
I thought he was talking about a different kind of banging, and I was all about it.
I mean,
Gentlemen, how are you?
We're good.
I'm good. Unlike Dan, my work schedule allows me to stay up late every night and do this kind of stuff. He never shows up to any events because he's a loser.
Oh, shut your face. God, you're always belly aching.
Off the rails we go.
Off the rails. I'm here for it. Let's go all the way off the rails. See, Ryan wants to ask you a serious question. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right.
So how did you two guys end up meeting each other and starting your team together?
Oh, this should be
The
good.
bathhouse.
Grinder. Grinder.
Oh, I thought that's what
Grinder.
Lucy from Broadhead Manor told me. Go ahead.
Larry, you can answer it.
All right. To give a serious answer, yes. Dan and I met just about 14 years ago. I had just gotten into the paranormal for about 6 months. He'd been in it for what, Dan? 9 years or something like that. And he was doing this cemetery crawl back when Facebook was good, and you could put a post out and 30 people would see it in the first 5 minutes. So he'd get 30, 40, 50 people showing up to these events, and I ended up being one of them. And afterwards, I'm like, hey, I got to chat with you. I got to talk with you. You know what the hell you're doing here. And we've been working together ever since.
Nice.
The unholy union was formed. I like you. Do you like me? I like you too.
It sounds like the most backwards ass fucked up love story I've ever heard.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah, it's no Brokeback Mountain, trust me.
No, but he is the work wife, so take that as you will.
Yeah.
So you guys go and you investigate a lot of places, and congratulations. And I believe it was is it called a Telly Award? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Tell us a little bit
Congratulations
about
on
that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know much about the Tellys when we entered, to be honest. It was recommended to me, and I said, holy cow, that's a really steep entry fee. And I kind of went back and forth for a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? It was recommended we enter. Someone who had seen an episode, the episode that we ended up entering, and they're like, you got to enter this. This is almost $300. Okay. And we actually won. So I guess maybe if someone says, hey, this is good, you should enter it into something, you should probably listen.
Maybe you should do it. And that was your expedition entity episode over Broadhead Manor, correct?
Yeah, we
Yes,
were
it
joined by
was.
Jenny Davis, who was our guest investigator, and that was Jenny Cole's very first episode with us.
Oh wow!
And
okay.
not only did she dry heave, almost threw up on my lav mic, and then she almost passed out. If I didn't catch her, she was gonna smash her face on an entertainment center.
Ooh, God!
Welcome to the team.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Sounds like a normal day for you, Shelley.
now,
That's
if that would have
Thursday.
been Larry that almost passed out and smashed his face, and it was up to me to catch him,
Well, to
Yeah,
be
well,
perfectly honest,
yeah.
I would look better now than I did prior.
I'm
Because
telling you, chicks,
I would have
chicks
smashed
do
it and
the
it would have
scars.
realigned things.
Yeah,
It would have
we do
realigned
scars.
things.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's all
it
good.
worked. It worked for Hank Jr. So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
So I got to ask now, Dan, how did you get into the paranormal? We know how Larry did now. How did you get into the paranormal?
When I was 13 years old in my hometown, my hometown was established in 1882, and back in the 1830s and stuff. I mean, Illinois was the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite rambunctious around here. Anyway, I was 13 years old and I was going up to the local record store to play video games with my friends because I'm old as fuck and that's what we used to do. And
Emphasis on old as fuck.
yeah, so as I was walking up there, I was walking up one side of the street, and on the other side of the street, I took notice of it kind of looked shadowy, but it was a guy wearing a drover's coat and not like a big 10-gallon fucking hat, but a fedora of some sort.
yeah,
And he was kind of keeping pace with me. And I was walking a little farther, and I was watching. We got to the end of the very building I was going to play video games in, by the way. We got to the end of that building, and he turned and walked right through the wall.
whoa.
We did, as a matter of fact, investigate that building.
And it was haunted.
What was it, like five or 6 years ago?
Yeah, they had turned it into a beautiful restaurant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the building has since
was haunted.
been torn down, and they actually built a new bank there.
Right. Which is a
And I'm
really
wondering-
nice bank.
The bank's beautiful. I'm just wondering if it's haunted.
Well,
It
did you go ahead? I'm sorry.
It might be haunted.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys get any confirmation on who that could have been whenever you guys investigated that building?
No.
The spirits that we spoke to in our investigation were all newer spirits. So we
okay.
didn't make any contact with anyone older. So don't know.
This episode.
Now,
Don't mind that.
Did you just sit around and watch yourself? What the
I'm
fuck?
multitasking.
I
I'm
was
editing
hearing-
video while we're doing a podcast.
I was
Listen,
really glad that
we
that
should-
was you and
hold
not a
on.
disembodied voice.
there was one other housekeeping thing. Please turn off all Pornhub before you get on to the episode,
Yeah.
please.
No,
Oh,
that's
damn it!
going
I'll
to
be
the
right
headphones.
back. Hang on.
You don't have to worry about that.
That's
I
more
mean,
for Ryan than for you guys.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Shut up.
I got your back, Ryan. I was there too.
We'll compare
Listen,
notes
you
later.
know, sometimes do you guys use Adobe Premiere for video editing? Or do you know about Adobe Premiere?
I know about it. We don't use it. No.
Okay,
I did in
so
college. So
I
know
do
some.
most of my video editing for everything, including the show, through Adobe Premiere. And you have to render everything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it doesn't play very well. It doesn't export very well. But rendering a file could take like 35 plus minutes.
Mhm.
Well, right now I'm rendering the interview for the second episode because we had to make a couple tweaks on it. And the 9-minute and 55-second interview is going to take 45 minutes to render.
Yep.
So it's like
Yep.
I got to multitask as much as I can.
You're
I
good.
see.
So
You're
all
Okay.
you
good. Go
people
for
out
it.
there, it looks easy, but it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm it's no secret. I tell people all the time, every episode of the show is somewhere between 60-ish to 75 hours of work.
Wow.
Yep.
Editing, the filming, most of our film days are between 14 and 18 hours. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
a lot.
No, I
And
mean,
Only
mostly no
14
sleep.
hours? We go for 48 hours at a time. No, I'm playing with you.
Sometimes it feels that way. There was one time we filmed an episode. I had to
Jesus,
turn around
Lord,
and immediately go to Broadhead to film a bunch of other things, and then turn around, get 3 hours of sleep, and then go and teach at NIU. So it's like,
Wow.
Mm.
sometimes it gets a little hectic.
And everybody all at once. Let's go. Oh,
Aw.
poor Larry.
Chad, yes, I am using the hardware acceleration and the GPU, but it's an older laptop. It's an older MacBook Pro. I need to get one of the new fancy ones.
Is that
So-
Chad Wandale? You
Yes,
know
it's
that
Chad
this is not
Wandale.
Ghost Geeks. Get off
This
it.
is not Ghost
Yep.
Geeks.
I need to get
We
me
love
one of them
Chad.
fancy MacBook Pros now.
No, I feel your pain, Larry. I will say that because I do all the editing for like our investigation stuff. Like our producer is taking over everything for the podcast, but even she could tell you that even our little trailers, my God, they take forever just to put together and, and all that crap. So
it's very time consuming, and in order to cut corners, you got to have a lot of skill and a lot of practice.
Yep.
So, and
Yep.
I have neither, so it takes me a long time.
Now, Larry, let me ask you this question. Did you say you teach at a college?
I'm right now. I'm in the master's program at Northern Illinois University,
Okay.
and a part of being in the program and earning my master's means I have to teach film there.
Oh, okay.
So I teach, give or take, 20 hours a week, plus however long it takes for me to grade stuff. And then I do this, and then
So
I'm also a baseball coach for my son's travel team.
Oh my
and,
God. So sleep eludes you.
4 to 5 hours a night and on average.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll get 7, and it's a great night.
Oh yeah.
But it's okay. Like tomorrow, I don't have class, so I'm just doing this.
There you go.
You don't have class
when we're
anytime. What
done-
are you talking about?
When they're done, I'm gonna call Dan and I'm gonna harass the hell out of him and be like,
I won't answer.
"Yeah, you will.
Just call him, hey, what you doing? Click.
You answer your husband.
Hey, what you doing?
Call.
To my husband. If you're my husband, you better get over here and start pleasuring your wife then.
Well, before we got on, Larry did call you his work wife, Dan.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
so
It's
I
a sick thing that he does.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Now we know what Larry kind of does because everybody always has a full-time job. They aren't just paranormal investigators.
Right.
Larry, I mean, Dan, do you want to tell them what you do? What your job is? What you have done?
Well, number one, Larry calls me the work wife because secretly he wants to cross dress. Let's just get that out
That's
there.
fine. Yeah, we don't kink shame.
Yes,
We do.
I am a full-time correctional officer.
Oh.
I have been for 18 years, or just shy of 18 years. Before that, I was a firefighter for 16. And out of those 16 years, I was a paramedic for 6, and 4 of the years as a paramedic in Chicago.
Dan knows his way around a pair of handcuffs.
I bet he
I
does.
do. And I love the pink furry ones that Larry owns. He always told me,
No, mine are black and red. Don't
"Oh,
lie.
you don't lie,
I
man.
don't- I
How
don't
many
own
times have you
pink
called me? I can't find the cuff key."
That was one time, and it fell under the bed.
Yeah.
it's like the worst luck ever.
Like, my hands are cuffed
Like-
together. How am I supposed to kneel down and not fall on my face?
Oh, I bet you can kneel cuff.
Yeah, he can.
A little bit of practice, a little bit. I was
Lisa,
in the army for 10 years. You don't know the
Yeah.
kind of things we did.
Trust me.
Oh man, so about the paranormal, guys.
So-
It's
So Dan, a question that
Oh,
I do
no.
have for you. Then.
Yes.
Oh no, Sierra's in chat. Dan, be quiet. We're gonna corrupt her.
Oh my God, Jesus, Sarah, I'm sorry for anything that or might say in the future.
Dan and I had this conversation. Like, we got to keep Sierra pure. We can't corrupt her too soon.
Now she's one of your newest investigators.
Yes.
She is, yeah. Yeah.
So how many members are on the team? What's the full team?
The full team is
5 of
Dan.
us.
Is the 5 of us. Dan's the lead investigator. I mostly focus on the production stuff, just so that it allows Dan to really focus on the investigation. He doesn't have to worry about any of the other stuff. And then Steve kind of does double duty with running my camera and investigating. And then Paige and Sierra are brand new investigators for season 4. But Sierra actually is making a guest appearance in the last 2 episodes of season 3 because we investigate the location she volunteers at.
Oh,
So
okay.
nice.
it was
Which-
actually those investigations that caused us to pick her up.
Yeah, that sealed the deal. We saw how well she investigated and how well she investigated with us.
Mhm.
And we had lost our teammate Laura last year due to some family issues that she just couldn't do it anymore. So we were always talking about replacing Laura with Sierra anyway. We just hadn't got around to it.
Right.
And she's a very welcome addition to the team. And I know when you guys see the last 2 episodes of season 3, she rocks it. And now with her and Paige both, they'll both be rocking it. It's exciting to have those guys along.
Yeah, and if Dan doesn't start showing up to events, I'm just going to replace him with Sierra.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Fired.
Yeah,
Fired.
don't threaten me with a good time.
So now, can you guys reveal where that last location is, or you want to keep it a secret until it premieres?
No, yeah.
The Freeport Masonic Temple in Freeport, Illinois. It's literally the size of a city block.
Yes.
It is huge and
is.
has over a dozen hotspot locations. And it was one of our, if not our longest investigation to cover. And that's why we had to make it 2 episodes, because it took us so long to investigate.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm here to tell you, in those 2 episodes, we didn't even hit half of the hotspots.
no.
Really?
Normally
Because
what
so
we
much
do
was
is
going on.
We try to hit every location at least twice. And then for the ones where we had little activity, we'll try a 3rd time if we can. This location, we were lucky to hit every location once.
Wow.
Wow,
And-
it was that
and if-
big.
If it didn't pan out, well then shit.
It's like it just didn't pan out.
So, hey, Ryan, before we go on, Ryan, you had a question before that son of a bitch Larry cut you off.
So the question I had was, you being a paramedic and you being a fireman, what is the craziest thing and a correctional officer? What is the craziest thing you've ever seen in the line of duty, paranormal wise?
Paranormally?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you always hear the stories, about
probably the
what
craziest thing that I've ever experienced. That was actually, I didn't see it, I experienced it. Is Larry and Marcia and myself were at this graveyard that's attached to what Larry and I refer to as the creepy church. And Marcia was doing a ghost box session, which was really the first time Larry and I had ever used a ghost box or had even been around one. And Larry was filming what Marcia was doing on the mini DV. That's how long ago it was.
Wow.
And I was standing behind them, and around the graveyard was a chain link fence. So I had my arms propped up over the fence like this. And so Marcia's doing her thing and getting great answers, and I'm watching into the graveyard to see if I can see anything moving around or whatever. And Larry's filming her. And all of a sudden, I shit you not, something grabbed me by the arms and yanked my ass up over that fence into the
what?
And over.
Yeah.
And over.
Wow.
And both Larry and Marcia stop what they're doing and literally in unison go, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I mean it. And that made me a big believer, you guys, because I'm not a little guy, and it pulled me over like nothing. I mean, just whoop.
Wow.
And it was terrifying, but it was also, I mean, it was awesome.
You just
It's
gotta
really cool.
imagine it
No,
from my
was it-
perspective, because all
was
you
it-
see is Dan's little legs just kicking like this.
Now, was it just up and over to the other side of the fence, or it like chucked you over when it picked you up?
No, it just pulled me up and over, and I was, it kind of got caught on the top of my legs, and I was able to then put my arms down and kick myself back off the fence. But it was trying to pull me in.
Wow.
Whatever the
Yeah.
hell it was.
I was gonna say,
I had
you
hand
think-
marks on my forearms for like 5 hours.
And
Wow.
you think, something like that, we'd never go back again.
Oh no,
Nope.
that means you have to go back.
And we did. And then Dan got an attachment.
A NASA.
Really?
Yay, attachments! I'm right there with you.
Attachments
we
and
didn't
getting
learn.
chucked. That's
We did
Blake's
not learn.
specialty.
Yeah, so you and I have pretty much a very similar story, something in
So-
common, Dan, because I got damn near yanked out of my bed after receiving an attachment from a location. So,
No, I was talking about you getting chucked 2 weeks ago.
oh yeah, I got
Oh,
chunked 2 weeks ago too. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that
Oh,
one.
shit.
It's just another Tuesday.
Yeah, no. Well, we were at Old Park Hotel, and me and Shelly were trying to help one of our other people that were there. She got jumped. Let's just face it. We call it jump because I hate the word possession. But anyway,
Possession seems like it should take longer. And
it
last
should.
longer.
Yeah.
Jumps in a minute. Yeah.
And whenever we were trying to help her get that off, I mean, Shelly was we were trying to basically keep him in a room so she could get out, and
Not
he
me, the guest. The guest could get out. I didn't.
Yeah,
get
the
out.
guest could get out.
could
Yeah.
jump.
And he just came fucking just pow drived into my ass and sent me up and over a freaking bench. Like,
Wow.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually hear the impact of him like running into my body.
Wow.
Jesus.
It was pretty
intense.
gnarly.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
what is the story on the attachment? What happened when you went back?
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow.
So it was the three of us again, and then this time I believe we were joined by your nephew.
No, was Marshall with us that time as well?
Yeah, because I was taking photos of her.
Yeah,
and I think your
Yep,
nephew
that's
might
true.
have been there too.
he was.
But on the ride in, Dan wasn't feeling very well. So, and then as we got closer, he kept feeling kind of crappier. So he's like, "You guys go ahead. I'll just sit back by the car." So as we then got closer to the cemetery and the building next door, he got sicker watching us get closer. So I'm sitting there taking photos and I don't remember what Marcia was doing. She was doing her thing. And, you're next to an old creepy building. You got to take pictures of the windows, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You never know. So I'm snapping pictures in the windows. And this was back before full spectrum was a thing, I believe, because it was expensive just to get a regular white light camera. So I had one of those point and shoot little white light cameras and snapping pictures. And, a lot of the times I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at what the camera's looking at. And in the flash, I saw two people standing in the window. And oh shit, we gotta go. We may or may not have been trespassing. We gotta go. So
Allegedly,
we're past the statute of limitations. So we book it back to the car and everything, and then we take off. And Dan's feeling better the further away we're getting from this cemetery location. And as I go and look at the photos, there's two people, but not people, staring at us in the window.
Love it.
And then from there, Dan's part takes over.
Yeah, it was creepy as shit. My daughter, yeah, my daughter was pretty small at the time. She was probably only 5 years old, and we were experiencing a lot of different stuff in the house about up to a week after that all happened. And one night my daughter woke up absolutely terrified, and she said, "Dad, something's standing in my doorway and watching me sleep." And, there's two things about the paranormal that people don't stop and think about. Number one, your family didn't sign up for this shit. And number two, it's very hard to fight what you can't see. And of course, so, I'm a correctional officer. I want to hit this thing head on. Come on, motherfucker, show me your ass and blah, blah, blah. Right. And that's not going to do anything because it's just sitting there laughing at you. Like, what are you going to do to me? Thankfully, and it's a very long story, but so I'm not going to get into it. But thankfully, with the help of some good friends, we were able to get it the hell out of here.
Which is also another great story to tell, though.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
Just to sum it up, it was our first encounter with astral projection.
Okay.
And Dan and I went into this going, "This lady's crazy. This lady's crazy." Because we were only a few years into the paranormal at the time. All we knew was beep, boop,
Right.
the light went off. That's a ghost.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Right.
she's sitting there telling us, okay, I'm in the living room with it. And all of a sudden you see the blinds smush against the window and the little twisty sticks start doing this. And it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And anything that she says, oh, we're here. Now I'm over here. Now I'm doing this. The house is literally making noise in that area.
Okay.
So finally, we get it down to the basement. We get the house salted and all the stuff you do to cleanse the house. And it gets pushed out. And Dan and I are in the basement. And and he goes, give us a sign that the spirit has left. And I kid you not, it felt like the house jumped a foot. Like both of us were just like, huh. And I go, what the hell was that? And Dan goes, I think it left.
So
I guess
it was like
it
it
left.
was lifted.
I guess it left.
Okay.
So yeah, that paraphrases a very long night, but
The
Yeah,
question I have
wild.
then is, with the astral projection thing, was she astrally projecting to push this thing out of the house? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah,
Yes.
okay,
yeah.
interesting. I've never heard of that. That's really interesting.
That was
She
the
came
first
here
we'd ever
to
heard of
evict it. Yep.
Yeah.
She came here to evict it, and she did so.
Yeah.
And then I blogged about this. I actually cleansed a negative entity off of a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and
Ooh.
that
No,
was
no, it wasn't.
a wild week, really wild week. Because this thing did not want me to succeed, and I ended up having to bind that spirit and send it away, and it was very intense. I was sick for like 3 days afterwards.
So you say it was a wild week. Was it wild in the sense that you were fighting this thing off of this kid the whole time, or you had blowback? You had a lot of repercussions of getting this thing off of this child.
Yeah, the first 5 days were just trying to get this thing off of this kid, and then the repercussions afterwards. Yeah,
Guys,
it was
Sierra's mom is in
absolutely
chat,
insane.
so we're all going to refer to her as mom too.
Mom too. Okay.
Hi, mom.
Mom too.
Hi, mom too.
But what sort, you said you were sick. What sorts of things did you have happen after you were able to get it out of there?
It was literally like I had a bad flu. It was horrible. And then
Which is what
and then-
happens a lot of times when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
right. I'm empathic, so when I open up to do things like that, as I was laying here sick, I swear to God, I could hear the people 3 blocks away having a fight. It's just wild. It's I can't explain it because I am not psychic or sensitive or anything like that. I'm empathic, yes, but it was absolutely the most strange thing. And some of the emotions, I tend to get emotions dumped on me, and of course, I could give a shit less about anyone, so it usually doesn't bother me. But
Me included.
in our episode of the Hanging Bride Bridge, that was a bad, very dark emotional dump. And I actually, you can see Jen come over and go, "My God, are you okay?" Because I was crying. And I don't cry. You can ask Larry. I am not a crier. I don't cry at anything. So because I'm just kind of a cold-hearted son of a bitch. So.
Yep. Yep.
It's amazing. Like you and Shelly could be the same person.
Yep.
Awesome.
I've seen this show. Yep. I know.
No, it's interesting everything that you just kind of said, because we as a group just kind of went through something like that at that old part weekend.
And I'm the one that runs at them. It's like, bring it. What are you gonna do? I like to run at them. Yeah, if they're acting up, if they're acting ugly, I want to run at them and make them stop. And if it's negative, bring it on. I got it. I can take it. And I recently got a big bad emotional energy dump on me, and it was not fun at all. It was awful.
Yeah.
So, but Yeah, don't want to do it again. Thank you. You know, would not recommend it. So, of the two of you, I may have already answered my own question. What are your abilities as far as does one of you find the energy and one of you is able to communicate with it better, or do you both kind of have the ability to read the energy in the room and go to it?
Larry paints his nails pink, and I won't.
My nails are black.
Yeah,
Joke,
that's
everyone.
a conversation we're not privy to, people.
So anyway, Larry, I mean, Larry and I have walked into place. Now, when he and I walked into Mantino State Hospital, even Larry looked at me and goes, "Man, this place is dank. You can feel it."
Yeah.
And there's sometimes he'll get that. You know, and if he's feeling it, well, you know how bad I'm probably feeling it.
I always say that you know, if this person is a sensitive, like they're a psychic, sensitive, medium, all the above, I'm an insensitive. I'm just a jerk. I got nothing going on here. The lights are on, but nobody's home. So
that's true.
When Dan said, when I feel it and I'm like, this place don't feel right, that means it's heavy. It's getting through the outer rock layer of my head.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Man, that is freaking Ryan for us. Ryan's like, oh man, I just feel it this weekend. He said it in a way when we went to Old Park like 2-3 weekends ago that it was like, I remember how you said it, but it was like, man, it's just gonna happen this week or something. Like you were really emphatic about it.
He said,
and
I think this place is gonna kick our ass.
We got our asses kicked.
Because you can feel that. Like when you walk into a place, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't call myself a sensitive either, but when you walk into a building, you like whatever is going on can just hit you and you're just like, okay, something heavy is in here this weekend, or something crazy is going on, or I just feel like this energy building, it's about to pop off here. You can feel that when you're doing it, as long as we've all been doing it. It's just kind of one of those things that kind of comes with the job, you know. You can feel that. So
I
wish you'd feel that ass kicking part a little less. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry.
I can honestly say the activity we had at the Masonic Temple, I don't think any of us felt that coming.
And I'm sorry, when were we invited up there to investigate with you?
Whenever you want.
Be careful, because I keep track of things people promise me on the podcast. When are we coming up?
That's Sierra. You can go ahead and message Sierra. She'll
fantastic.
Set something up.
Got it.
We'll swing by if we can.
Oh, Sierra, I apologize for what the messages are about to receive.
So I was hanging out with my friends from the Into the Obscure podcast, who was also friends with Dave Schrader, and we went to a bar one night, and Dave was talking about how him, Josh Gates, and I can't remember the third person, they'll serve each other people at conferences. Like, you know, when a conversation's going for way too long and it's just like, oh, hey, you know who'd really like to talk about that? Josh Gates. I basically just served you guys over to Sierra.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Again,
okay.
Sierra, I apologize for the message you're going to receive.
We're going to be best friends, Sierra. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Listen, you know, if the evidence we caught in the episode is anything compared to what you'd get for a longer investigation, you guys are in for a treat.
I love that. I love that.
And it's really not that far from Broadhead. So, you know, you guys are making a bit of a trip. You could do both.
Make a weekend of it. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
I do have a question for y'all about a specific episode. And there was something in one of the episodes of Expedition Entity that I was watching. And it was the Maple Cemetery. Maple Cemetery episode. Now, Dan, you were doing the dowsing rods and you were sitting in front of that tree and you were asking questions. And almost in a bit of a panicked voice, Larry says, I saw something white that just went behind you.
Yeah.
Todd, I ran that back 3 or 4 times and I was trying to see that. And I guess I missed it every time because I kept trying to catch it in the video. Would y'all please give me some raw footage? Because obviously I'm blind. I really wanted to see it. Oh, it's not the video.
It does not show up.
Well, thank God. I thought I'd gone blind and couldn't see it.
I was really surprised too, because to me, it was as white as a dress. You know,
And that's what you said. It looked like a lady in a white dress that had gone between back behind one of the stones, had gone between the tree and back behind the stones. I think I ran that back probably 30 times. I'm glad to know that I didn't just not see it.
Yeah.
So okay.
I don't know why. Like I said, I'm insensitive. I can't see things. So if it was there, it was there. But then the camera said, no, you're making things up. So camera got me in the back there. But
but we've had that happen to us a couple of times too. It's like you can literally, I mean, it's there, like the whole group's seeing it, you know, and then you turn a camera that way, or it's on camera and your IR doesn't catch it.
So
you know,
I have a potential explanation for that.
Okay.
And this comes from a book that Dan and I published, holy shit, 11 years ago. We don't talk about this book. It was self-published. It was edited very badly by me.
I don't know why the hell he's talking about it now, but
because it's very interesting. For some reason, my girlfriend Allie found it and wanted to read it, and she's all obsessed about reading it now. But I try to hide the book as much as possible. So there's this theory in the book.
Me too.
Theory book, and we talk about where the paranormal exists. And if you look at the light spectrum, you know, we have visible light right here, and then it's technically on the left side, but for the live stream it'll be backwards. On the left side you have IR, on the right side you have UV, and then beyond. So visibly in the visible light spectrum, we see a lot more things than IR picks up. So which tells me that it's not in IR. It could be in invisible light, but there's a little bit of an overlap between visible and UV. So you get things like full spectrum cameras that cover everything. Well, you know, we've had a lot of crazy stuff show up in UV photos and full spectrum photos. So maybe towards UV a little bit, maybe the paranormal exists in that realm of light frequency. But it's not completely clear and it's not always guaranteed. Well, what if the paranormal exists beyond UV? What if it exists in the X-ray realm? That we can't walk around with an X-ray camera. That wouldn't work out. But you know, maybe for different reasons they're visible when they come down into UV or for some reason or another. But that also might explain why something we see isn't caught on an IR camera, because it's just too far away from the wavelength.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I mean, would you also say that's why we see things briefly, because they're changing their wavelength to be visible?
Potentially. And it maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not. Who knows? That's a question where you have to try to ask over and over and over again and see what kind of answers you get from different spirits. Maybe some will know, maybe some won't. But you know, that's kind of the way that we've approached things. And yes, we filmed the show in IR. I hate the look of UV pink. It's just nauseating to me. I absolutely hate it. But yeah, I think that's why it didn't show up on cameras, because it's just the cameras aren't equipped to record it very well.
Right.
So most of the time you don't actually get a spirit on camera. What do you get? You get a shadow, because that's all the camera can pick up.
Right.
So
see that totally made, because when we went to Indiana State, now I was in the middle of doing an Estes method, but we had 4 other people that were in the area with me while Shelly was leading this Estes method with me, and Shelly and all of them saw this like weird hand puppet. It's what they said they looked like, mimicking her as she asked questions. She'd be like, "So what did it?" And it'd be like, you know. And Ryan tried to turn the camera that way and flood it with light, but it was full spectrum light and IR camera, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, wasn't picking it up, and it was like it got caught at one point, and it like stopped. And it's like, oh shit, I've been seeing. And it was like, it just went away.
Gotta go, bye.
Yeah.
Like,
now that's just I was gonna say that's my retelling. These two could probably fill in the gaps, because I was blindfold earphones. I had no fucking idea what was happening.
Shelly is pointing it out, because we had the IR, you know, we had the IR light on, so it's
I'm
casting
the only
green.
one that's seeing it, because all of y'all had your back to it.
Yeah, it was casting that green on the wall, and so Shelly, you're seeing it, and like you said, it was doing the hand puppet.
I watched it for 2 or 3 minutes, and I kept trying to see if one of these guys were, you know, if anybody that was standing there looking towards where Blake and I were standing, nobody was even turning around. They were standing still holding cameras, and up above me is just something going, literally like some stupid. It was like some dumb sock puppet.
Yeah. And she's saying, "Hey, somebody look at this."
Yeah.
So.
And the second that they turned around, it was like hey, somebody look. They saw me. And it
shit.
went away,
And
literally
go.
like that.
It did just like that. And like Blake said, I saw it with my own eyes. When I turned around, I saw it with my own eyes and tried to catch it on the UV cam, not UV cam, but the IR cam, and nothing registered in the IR spectrum, but I could see it directly as it was happening.
Yeah, I don't think IR is the best thing for us to be filming investigations with. It just looks so much better than the other options.
True.
Because white light obviously is tough because all you're going to see is an investigator like, can you turn the light down? No, we got to be able to see your face. I can't see anything. So I understand why IR comes in handy, but that UV pink is just so nauseating.
Agreed.
Gross. Now, yeah, you can shift it to monochrome and make it black and white, but
yeah, but your pink handcuffs aren't nauseating.
It's black and red. The pink are yours.
Yeah.
You got them from your brother. Used.
Keep telling everyone that.
Damn.
So the obligatory question: your favorite place to investigate? Because I plan on wherever you say your favorite, I'm going to make a trip up there at some point.
So is this a favorite we've been to or a favorite we want to go to?
Your favorite place that you've investigated?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough,
no matter
because we have
what-
both Bill and Sierra and her mom in chat.
We're torn.
it's okay to say both. I mean, the
Right.
place where it's like you go every opportunity you get, and it's okay if you have more than one. We have more than one, but
Sure.
you know.
For me, there are actually 3 or 4 locations to where we're constantly going to. Broadhead's one of them. The Tinker Swiss Cottage in Rockford, which was just on Jack Osborne's Night of Terror. We're there a lot. The Veterans Memorial Hall in Rockford, we're there a lot. The Masonic Temple is still new. Like the episode we filmed there, prior to that, Dan and I only visited once or twice. So that was our first real sit-down investigation. I'd like to hit that one a little more, just because there were a lot of things going on that night that I want to see if we can recreate or get more confirmation on. So and I know Doreen, who runs it, and Sierra and Lisa, they'd have us there at any time we want. But so yeah, I'd say those 4 spots for me. They're all really high up there.
How about you, Dan?
I took all the good ones. You got to find something else.
Well, I would say, I would agree with the places that we frequent, but for me personally, I like going to the battlefields.
Okay.
Anyone in particular?
Stillman's Run. Yeah. We just took Larry's girlfriend over there on Sunday, as a matter of fact, and it's always awesome for me to go there.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Gettysburg?
No, but it is definitely number 1 on my bucket list.
Right.
Mine too.
Right now, we're hoping our agent is able to get us there to speak for the Gettysburg Bash this upcoming year.
Oh, nice.
As of right now, we haven't heard anything. So it's like, hey, dude, if you don't hurry up, we're not going to get a hotel. We're going to have to sleep on the ground.
That's fine with me.
But I'm hoping to make it. Dan and I have a few secret tests that we're not going to talk about for things we want to do when we go there.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that.
So, some things that I haven't seen others do very much or at all. So I'm looking forward to trying it.
If it works, I'm totally stealing it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, and to kind of go along with that, everybody does the Estes method now. And when we were at the Roadhouse, we decided to do it with playing cards. And Jen didn't say anything. And I was getting the cards
to the camera and say, "What is this?" So it's not like Dan could hear her say, "Please say the 6 of spades."
Right.
So,
right.
Well, see, we kind of we took a page out of we'll give him credit where credit is due. Chad Wandell with Ghost Geeks. We took a page out of his books because he has created his own like flashcards that have questions on them
Mhm.
that you just hold up to the camera. Well, we went out and we
That's
just
a great
bought
idea.
we just bought whiteboards with dry erase whiteboards, and we've actually had some excellent responses from that. I was standing in front of a stairs, a location down here in Texas, and we heard something almost kind of fall down the stairs is what it sounded like. And I was in the middle of who is on the stairs, and I was just about to write the last S on stairs, and the girl that was under, she just goes, Mark. And I went, are you kidding me? And turned the question towards the camera. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So Chad in chat said it's not stealing, it's collaborating. Well, Chad, we're going to be collaborating with you. And then we're going to be collaborating with these guys because it's probably going to be a whiteboard.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
We'll
take
draw
it and run with it.
a little EVP in the corner with some green hashes.
That's
you go.
okay. Hey, you know what?
Take
The
it and
thing
run
is-
with it.
Yeah, it's everybody needs to. I mean, nobody knows the exact way to do it. It's like keep trying things until they
Yeah.
work for you. And something works for y'all may not work at all for us, but something works for us may not work for y'all. But try it. You never know. If you've got the right energies on something, it might work once and then never again. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Chad said he's going to send us some decks, Dan.
Awesome.
Dex with an E.
D-E-C-K.
Oh,
Well, I guess that's okay too.
I quickly looked over and I thought it said ducks. I'm like, what the fuck is he
Ducks.
sending me all
I'll
these
take
ducks
that
for?
too. Duck eggs are great for baking.
Hey, there you go.
Great for
No,
brownies.
absolutely. I mean, the decks
Edibles.
that Chad has and the whiteboard, it's just really a way to pull us out of it and validate it a lot more, because of course we run into the skeptics. Oh, they can hear you. Oh, they can,
Right.
Okay, well then, explain that. Like when I'm not even asking the question, I'm writing it and showing the camera.
And just
One
hold
of
it
the
up, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
behind them too,
Yeah, one of the benefits for how we film is we use DJI wireless microphones for the main cam. So whoever's leading the session is doing so through the DJI microphone so that I could hear them to make sure there's no problems with the audio. Everybody else has these little Tascam DR10s that record internally to the battery pack. So whenever we're doing something like that, the person doing the Estes with the headphones on, they wear the Tascam so that their audio doesn't drown out the person asking questions. And the headphones are so loud, you could actually have the microphone pick it up.
Yeah.
So you'll actually sometimes you hear responses through the microphone that they missed. There's no way in hell they're able to hear questions.
Yeah.
Not if that microphone can pick up the SB7 screaming at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've had to defend that a few times too, where it's just like, you don't know how loud those headphones get. They're loud.
we had a person put them on this past weekend because we had an investigation, and they were like, and they just put them on their ear, and they're like, "Oh damn, that's freaking loud." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's your first time. Sorry."
Yeah. Well, sometimes the SB7 headphone jack tends to go out, and then it sounds funky, and it's just like, well, next, give me another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use the Vic Firth drummers noise canceling headphones, and like if they're together, you can't even hear that spirit box, but you open them up and it's like, as loud as it goes, and they're like, oh my god! But you put them together, you can't hear anything coming out of those headphones.
Yeah. So starting from whoever designed this Estes method in Estes, Colorado, 10, 15 years from now, there's going to be a pandemic of ghost hunters with bad hearing.
Yeah, right.
And it's going to be all their fault.
I'm already there, but it's the concerts I've been to. I saw Motorhead several times and stood right next to the stacks. So
I rode fire engines for so long, and that was before we were forced to put on hearing protection. So yeah, I can't hear shit.
I played the drums during the era where it wasn't cool to wear hearing protection. So yeah.
That's what you call playing the drums.
And then I was in the Army, so we were blowing stuff up left and right.
Yeah, you were blowing stuff, all right.
I had to practice for you.
And you still suck at it.
I didn't get enough practice, apparently.
Damn.
I'm not in the Navy. I was in the Army.
No, I'm not in the Navy.
In the Navy.
Hey, don't worry. We'll have Ryan give you some pointers.
wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Well, you are a local menace.
I am a local menace. Absolutely.
Oh no, Sierra's
Yeah.
still here. Dan, no, what have we done?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Y'all
Sarah.
have
Here.
corrupted the newest investigator. Oh no.
She's
I am
vomiting
totally-
profusely.
I am totally exposing Larry for who he is.
Just remember, he's the sick fuck. I'm the victim of him. I'm the victim.
I have big shoulders.
How is
I'll
it
take
the one that I'm the
responsibility.
one that's the best behaved on the podcast tonight? That's never the case.
Dan,
Very true.
Dan, tell the goat joke.
Oh, for Christ's sake. All right. Do you guys want to hear the ghost joke?
Of course.
Of course.
All right.
Do we need
So
a
over
parental
in
warning?
Yeah,
Well
yeah,
past
parental
that.
warning beforehand.
Well
All right.
past that.
All
So over in Ireland, way out in Northern Ireland, on the part of the island that's the prairie, there's this little Catholic congregation, and for weeks they've been talking about they've all been seeing ghosts. And the priest has been telling them over and over again, there are no such thing as ghosts. There have never been ghosts. Trust me, there's no such thing as ghosts. Well, they don't believe him, so they don't shut up about it. So finally, he gets one of the Jesuit brothers to come out. And the Jesuits are the ones who perform the exorcisms and stuff. So for 3 hours, this Jesuit brother goes on, I can guarantee you there are no such thing as ghosts. There have never been ghosts. There are no such thing as ghosts. So after all this goes on, he looks out into the congregation and he goes, after everything I've said, do any of you still believe in ghosts? And most of the congregation raises their hand. And he says, have any of you here ever heard a ghost? And a bunch of families lift their arms up, and he goes, don't you think that maybe it's the wind blowing through the shutters? There are no such thing as ghosts. He said, has anybody here ever seen a ghost? And this guy raises his hand and he goes, William Kirkpatrick, you're drunk all the time. It's the bottle. There are no such thing as ghosts. He goes, I'm going to ask the ultimate question. Has anybody here ever made love to a ghost? And way in the back of the church, this little old guy slowly raises his hand. Jesus. And he goes, William Francis O'Reilly, you mean to tell me in God's good church you've made love to a ghost? And he goes, oh, but Jesus, Father, no, I thought you said goat.
Every time we meet somebody new or I bring someone to Dan, I go, Dan, tell the joke.
I like
Tell
that.
the joke. Tell it.
I feel we have been properly hazed a little bit. Then.
That's okay. I'm here for it.
Proud.
I'm with it.
I am here for it. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to start goat hunting.
Go hunting.
Well, hopefully you bring some sheepskin rubbers.
Oh, boo, Larry, boo. Boo.
Yeah, you couldn't even come up with it. You unoriginal bastard.
Oh man, and it was at the time of
Tough crowd.
54 minutes and 30 seconds that they completely lost all hope for the episode.
Back to sleep, Larry. You're not ready to play with the
This is the
big
best
boys
episode
yet.
ever.
This is the best episode ever. Are you
Oh
kidding me?
God, y'all have had me cracking up this whole damn time.
My
I
cheeks are
know.
Face
It's like, I
cheeks.
don't-
These cheeks.
I don't even want to talk about the paranormal. I just want to turn them loose and go continue on with your fabulous conversation.
Well, no, we gotta talk about broad. We gotta talk about the one thing that's won them the most things that they've ever gotten. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I think we're up to 27 IMDb wins now, including
Yeah.
the telly because it's an IMDb festival too. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
Broadhead's been good to us. Yeah, just a little bit.
Broadhead, on a serious note, and I'm not just saying this because, Bill's happens to be in chat or anything like that.
That's our sex.
Above everything, Bill's my friend.
Yeah.
But the first time that I was ever at Broadhead, after Bill and Ron took it over, Broadhead wouldn't be Broadhead without Bill. He is the heart and soul of that place. And those spirits are friendly to people and like to be there because Bill's there. If Bill and Ron ever sell that place, it is not going to be the same experience.
Right, and Bill's sweat is the lacquer on the floor.
100% will agree on that. Yeah.
I was trying to be serious for just a minuscule second, and he just has
That's
to.
all you get. That's all
you got about 15 seconds to get it in, and then Larry ruined it, Dan. So.
Yep, and then he just had to. I'm trying to be sentimental, and the heartless bastard.
Bill went further. So
yeah, Bill
like
went a lot further. So
yeah.
Bill said that's not.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Well, if it's not sweat, I hope you're not going around to the Catholic churches and leaving anything in the holy water.
Meh.
I guess
you've had
everyone
better.
who's listening,
Meh.
you're going to have to go and read the comments.
Anyone that watches the archive of this show, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is happening? What is going on? This is supposed to be a paranormal show about ghosts."
And why does that guy keep sounding like an Irish priest?
I don't know. I love accents. You carry on with your fabulous accent. I love it.
I'm telling because back to Dan trying to have a serious note here. We got to go to Broadhead for the very first time back in early September, and yes, I will 100% agree with you on that. Bill is the absolute heart of that place.
He is.
And that building just, as the sun goes down and the darkness creeps in, it just freaking comes to life. And I saw a lot of comparisons of what y'all got in the episode versus what we were experiencing in the same locations y'all were experiencing them in.
Sure. Here's a funny fact about our episode, though, is we didn't have to wait till the sun went down. Because the majority of the episode shot during the day.
Yeah.
It was a daytime episode. It wasn't until the very final few.
That's true.
That you can see in the gift shop. It's dark outside because that was towards the end. But when we started, it's daytime. That building is hopping day and night.
Yeah.
We were going for a long time. I mean, it's such an amazing building. It's a great location. There's just awesome history with it.
And the owner has great nuts.
He does. Yeah, he has great nuts. Yeah, we've all had
I'll
nuts.
tell you what, Bill's nuts will melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
Not in your hand, though.
Sweet and salt.
No.
So, but one of the things that stands out of my mind from Broadhead is the first time that Larry and I were over there. We investigated, and I had called Bill after the fact, and he goes, "So what do you think?" And I said, "Larry and I think it's haunted." And he said, "Well, would you like to come back?" And I said, "I'd love to come back, Bill." I said, "But I'd like you to get like 10 or 20 other groups in there before I ever come back." And he goes, "Well, most people don't like to do that." And I said, "It only confirms what I experienced. In the paranormal, we all play this game of laying claim to certain locations and I'm the only one who can get anything there. And that's bullshit. We need to come out of this selfish and trying to one up each other mindset and realize we're all doing this for the same reason. We all want, answers. And Shelley, you said earlier, it doesn't, we can all do this differently, but still come up with tangible evidence. And when I used to talk, I used to do a shit ton of lives, and I really don't anymore. But I used to say, it's kind of like skinning a cat. If you start at the nose or at the ass end, the end result's the same.
Yeah.
And it's no different. I mean, everybody, well, yeah. But, we all have to have our own way of doing things to try to find these answers out. And, Larry and I don't compete with people. And we just go out. We don't try to be the best. We just try to be the best that we can be. And it's working out pretty well for us because we're not in any competition.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that was that Dan and I divided the labor instead of competing with each other as to who could do it better.
Yeah.
It works the best for us that he's in front of the camera because the camera needs somebody dependable and knows what they're doing in order for it to make the whole thing work.
Yeah.
You could have the most amazing $100,000 camera system, but if no one is doing what they're supposed to do in front of it, it's all just dead air.
Yeah.
So and vice versa. You could be the best investigator, but if you're recording it on a potato, nobody's gonna watch it. So
And trust me, as much as I hate to give this son of a bitch any kind of credit, he does. He's the best in the business in our area for what we do. I mean, he edits that shit. He puts that shit together. And, you know, I mean, guys, I'm about to fucking puke in my mouth, but, you know, the truth is the truth. I mean, I can't deny it.
Man, I love that their love for each other is a lot like ours. It's
Caustic?
like finding our people.
Yes, and toxic. Yes, very toxic.
But also at the same time, very codependent too.
Very codependent relationship. Yes.
Yeah, Dan's got to learn to swallow that. Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's like the little never got to push off the top of the stairs and watch him bounce his head off every fucking stairs he went down.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Dan,
fair.
that was very sweet. Now, Larry, do you have something you'd like to say to Dan?
I do. There was
that guy.
So when we first were doing season 1 and we decided to put episodes in for film festivals, we actually did the episode for Stillman's Run. And we're putting it in the very first festival we won. Like it was a big deal for us. Somebody said, hey, these guys do it pretty good. They happen to also do a podcast where they talk about the winners. And they get to ours, and these are not paranormal people. It's a film festival.
No.
They only do film. So, but they're very interested, and they believe we believe what we're talking about. But they didn't know quite how to take us, and they thought we were a father-son duo. So, Dad, I appreciate the sentiment.
Dan so wants to say something right now.
Dan,
you should have
went
in the same napkin your brothers and sisters went into.
Say it in the Scottish accent. No.
Yeah.
You should have ended up in a napkin. And with that, the dog lends his opinion.
Buddy, come on, buddy. Don't do me like that, buddy.
That was perfect timing from the dog.
I know.
Damn. That was great.
Can you let him out really quick, bud?
That was fucking great.
Where are the tracks? We have no idea. Somewhere in a field, like 15
somewhere.
miles
Yeah,
away. I love it.
The tracks are somewhere that way.
I
We're
love
still
it.
talking about the paranormal, just very loosely.
Yeah,
Very
right, yeah.
loose.
We were
There's some
vaguely-
undertones there.
It's
we
like
were vaguely paranormal tonight. We were
Exactly.
vaguely paranormal. It's in the title.
It's in the title, yes.
Loosely tied together, kind of like my pants at Thanksgiving.
The only thing paranormal about tonight is we all happen to be investigators.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but we're all also on Paraflix now.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So welcome aboard, you guys.
Welcome.
That is
Thank you very
awesome
much.
as shit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're
That is awesome
absolutely
as shit.
absolutely excited. Our 6th episode for season 1 drops this week, so we're just cruising right along, I guess, getting ready for season 2 as best we can. Season 2 of that and season 3 of the weekly podcast. So we're just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Plus investigating, plus everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And guys, I have to say, if I have insulted or upset anybody tonight, I don't really fucking care.
I figured you didn't.
I thought that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, I saw that
knew
one
it.
coming. I
I
saw
knew
that one coming.
Yeah, I was gonna be sincere and apologize. And yeah,
No, but you saw how that already went. So no.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't apologize.
Well, it's a good thing Natalie's not here because she'd be watching this show going, I really
Oh
put
my
this much faith in
God.
these two assholes. Oh my God. Paraflix is going under.
We actually kind of hope she doesn't watch everything vaguely paranormal, that she just sticks to After Dark. We kind of,
Yeah.
After Dark with EVP, Paraflix, we behave a little more on there. Not completely, but
Well, we do too, a little bit.
yes, I know.
The ghosts will call Dan Fatso and shithead. and a pussy and a bastard.
But you never would.
Not on camera.
Larry.
Not on camera. Yeah. Not where something's recording. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I have to remember that
No.
rule.
Yeah. Do you guys want to see
Larry, yeah, I knew. Here it
quick.
comes. I knew it.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you better run it, Larry.
Oh Lord.
I'll do the 1080 one because that tends to work better on StreamYard.
You know what? Go for it.
4K doesn't seem to work very well on StreamYard. There you go.
You look like a baby playing in his own shit in a diaper. It sounded like it.
Oh, it paused.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wait, are we paused?
It sounded
Nope.
Freezing
like
up,
it
no.
went Larry.
That's what I heard too.
It definitely went Larry.
It's a bastard.
Interesting.
Well, it was probably the most positive Phasma session because I didn't get called any names. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm being cussed out. So I'm actually really upbeat about this whole thing. So
Experience then.
yeah. And little did I know.
Little did he know.
Little did I know I had been called a bastard.
Dan, I think we are the same person. If they don't call me a bad name at least once or twice within 5 minutes, I feel like they don't love me anymore.
Yeah, I'm always being called. I've been called. What did it call me up at Maple, Larry?
Shithead.
Oh, shithead. Yeah, it called me a shithead.
It called you a prick and a fatso at Broadhead.
Yeah.
At Stillman, he goes, "It's so peaceful here. I feel like I could put up a sleeping bag and sleep here." And it goes, "Well, do it then, pussy."
Yeah, I mean, just you can't make this shit up. I'm like,
it's
Jesus,
crystal
even the other,
clearly
you know, it's bad enough I'm insulted by this fucking guy all day, and then the ghosts are doing it too.
Hey, you know what? We are not responsible for what the spirits say. We actually were filming with someone at White Rock Lake in Dallas, and we're telling them a story about how one of the cops had come up, and literally he said, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, "Oh, hey, well, we'll let you. We're running a spirit box. You want to talk to him?" He goes, "Oh, I don't believe in this stuff," and it said, "Right, pig," like that, and we were like, "Ah."
Oh.
And we were like, he said, "What?" I go, well, I told him what it said. I thought he should know. And literally through the spirit box, it goes, does like this pig sound. And he goes, "Okay, I'm out here." And then it called his name. His name was Jeff. And I go, "Hey, don't be like that. This is a nice officer." And he goes, "Okay, Jeff." Literally, the cop got in his car. He said, "Here's my card. If you need me, call me. I'll come back. I'm not coming back."
Okay.
Nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
it was
know-
like, oh, bad.
You know, that pig sound would have made me wonder: are we filming a scene from Deliverance, or are we on a investigation here?
I don't
Or
know
both.
why I
You
got
know-
to choose.
Right. Don't you tell me how I'm supposed to spend my Friday night. I have priorities, and I don't care what you say.
And Larry loves to squeal like a pig.
Just remember, you're the wife, not me.
Oh man.
Yes, I
Oh,
am
my
the
God.
best damn wife you'll ever have.
Bill says that's why I don't leave them alone in Broadhead.
That is true.
Whoa, what are you insinuating, Bill? Come on. I think I could take Dan in a fight.
Well,
We just basically have just let them
You
take
can-
over at this
you
point.
can put your hand up my ass and fight for air.
Okay, well, gentlemen, we have actually run 10 minutes longer with you than what I told you we would.
We are so sorry. I do apologize.
y'all are
for
good.
that.
What are you apologizing for?
I
I have
warned you-
had to do nothing. I'm
Yeah,
loving
right.
this.
I warned you prior to the show that you don't know what you're asking for.
Oh, y'all are
Oh,
good.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I will say one thing, Shelly. I will say one thing because we do ask every guest before they come on our show, "Are you sure?"
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And I do think tonight I will go on record as the season finale, or the season finale for season 2. We might have met our match.
Very well may
Yeah,
have.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
That's okay.
I haven't even started telling you the good stuff yet.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Well, I'm trying to keep you guys and us from getting kicked off Paraflix at this point.
Well,
Right.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so hang on just a second, guys. And Blake, why don't you tell them everything that they need to know tonight?
Sure, sounds good. Well, don't forget a brand new episode of After Dark with EVP drops this Thursday, 9 p.m. only on Paraflix Paranormal Plus. This week, we have the extended interview with the mysterious Sam and Mike that we had on a few weeks ago on the podcast. So tomorrow morning, we'll be posting our link tree to our Facebook. Make sure you're going to the Everything Vaguely Paranormal Podcast Facebook page to find that. Our link tree is where you can get to everything that has to do with EVP. That's going to include a few things. That link to the Paraflix where you can sign up, use our code AFTERDARK25 for 25% off your annual subscription. A link to our online merch store where you can find everything Vaguely Paranormal. And you'll also see a link to our public investigations. We actually don't have any locations on the book right now, but we will be picking those back up here in just a little bit. So make sure you give us a follow on that. There is also our Patreon page to help support the show. It's just $5 a month, and you instantly unlock well over 150 Patreon exclusive bonus videos, which include 30-minute pre and post broadcasts, behind the scene moments, special video casts, Paracon speaking events, and we are offering a 7-day free trial on that if you want to check it out before you purchase. Those links are the quickest and best way you can directly support what we do. The support you give goes directly to the show and our paranormal ventures, so we can continue to bring you the episode's evidence and the laughs like tonight. We greatly appreciate your love and support for us through your shares, comments, and likes as well. So as always, any questions, comments, or stories you'd like to share, those can be submitted to us at the evppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Like, share, and subscribe. So we want to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. I'm Shelley Pruitt, my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith, Mr. Ryan Roberts, and we would like to thank our very special guests, Mr. Dan Norvell and Mr. Larry Eissler III. Please make sure that you check out Expedition Entity on Paraflix. Make sure you check out The Ghost of Black Hawk War and Afterlife Anthology. You can find those on Amazon.com. And again, thank you so much, gentlemen. We have had a blast.
It's been a good time.
It's been good.
And thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. And we will see you, as always, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.